What's up, nail geeks? Rounding out today's post is the Indie by Patty Lopes. She has a Bloggers and Swatchers collection. I have been DM'd a couple times asking if I knew there was a polish named after me, and I absolutely do. This post has been in the works for a few weeks now, and I'm very proud to present it to you guys. The majority of these polishes are based off of bloggers in Brazil, and there's a couple of us speckled out in the US. So let's get started. First up is Blogs as Malta's Nail Arts. This is an army green with teal shimmer and micro hollow flakes. I just want to throw it out there, I do apologize if I butcher any of these bloggers' names. So this one overall has a really creamy finish on application. It applies very buttery smooth on the nail. I do agree that this is definitely an army green. It does have just a touch of a neutral khaki undertone to it overall. In person, those little micro flakes and that teal shimmer is a lot stronger than what I think you're seeing on my swatches. I do feel like the video is being color accurate here, and as you can see, for opacity, 2 coats and you'll be just fine. I really can't see anyone needing to go to 3 on this one. It does self-level very nicely on the nail and gives you a very scattered kind of sparkly effect overall with that blue flake. So on the full hand shot here, you are seeing a glossy top coat applied, and I had no texture whatsoever. Next up is CDB Nails. This is after my girl Cheyenne. This is described as a purple jelly with purple flakies and purple micro galaxy glitters. So this one overall to me, on just overall finish in general, feels very, very jelly-like to me. For opacity on this one, I'm going to suggest 3 coats on this one, but I do want to caution, it is what I would consider a true jelly, so it does start off quite a bit on the sheer side. So I think there's a lot of versatility with this one. You could definitely use it as a topper over a dark undie, but if you wear it on its own, I think 3 thin coats to build it up very nicely, but it will still give you a really delicate effect overall. So there's a very strong, like, scattered sparkle overall from those little galaxy glitters. Now the flakes on this one are of the larger variety, but I had no problems picking them up on the brush, as you're seeing here. No issues with them sticking up. They behaved very nicely for me, and they give you a really strong pond effect overall. So I would say that the flakies in this are probably one of the larger ones I think I've worked with so far, and I had no problems with them to report. So if you are applying and you get one to kind of just fall on the edge of your nail, no problem. It kind of acts like a metallic type of foil effect, and you can just kind of like push it down. So these are, like I said, like foil, so they're easy, they're very malleable on the brush strokes. So here on that 3rd coat, you can see there's a nice pond effect going on, but I do have a strong prominent free edge, so you can see just a touch of my smile line overall. Now this one, I did go in normal with my top coat, which I had no texture whatsoever from this one either. And next is Sabella Nails. This is described as a black jelly with micro hollow black galaxy glitters, hollow pigment, and translucent multichrome flakes. So this one is a super, super sparkly black hollow, though I do want to note, once again, we do have a very strong jelly-like finish overall. So this one is going to depend on your nail length and how prominent your free edge is. So here on that 1st coat, once again, we start off just a little bit on the sheer side, but building it up for opacity, I would suggest between 2 and 3 coats, depending on how you apply. If you go in kind of normal, you could probably get away with 2 coats, though if you polish kind of thin, then I would suggest 3 coats. So here, once again, kind of sheer on that 1st coat, but building it up on that 2nd coat, you can really see how it just kind of packs a punch and really layers up nicely. So overall, we've got lots of glitters floating in this one to give you a really strong sparkle. There is a linear holographic effect as well, and those black galaxy glitters just give like a really interesting kind of warm like sparkle overall. Now this one does dry down just a little bit on the matte side, so I would recommend a really glossy top coat to really make it pop. So overall, no problems with those flakies here. Those are of the medium variety, so they just give you just an extra dimension overall. Once again, on the full hand shot, you are seeing a glossy top coat applied. And next we have Cosmetic Sanctuary. This is after my girl Lisa. Official description is a micro hollow royal blue with micro glitters. So this one feels a little bit on the jelly side to me on application, though it does build up very quickly. For this one, I'm going to suggest 2 coats for opacity. Now I want to know that the base to this one is a decent multichrome, how I would describe it. So in person, in bright lights like what you're seeing on the video, you'll see a really strong purple overall, but on angles you'll see like a orangey type of golden glow on angles in the shade. So really nice multichrome effect overall. And in person you'll see those little micro glitters. They are like a sapphire blue, and they give a really strong scatter across the nail as well. So they're kind of sparkly, but they kind of have a bit of a matte appearance overall. So I think they stick out very, very prominently against that base. So this one has a bit of a smoky undertone to the base color overall as well. So once again, really going to depend on how you apply overall. So I took this one up to 3 coats, and as you can see here, really nice coverage. It popped very nicely. Now this one does dry down matte as well, so on the full hand shot here in just a moment, you'll see there's no texture whatsoever with this one. I didn't really need to go heavy on my top coat or anything, and I was good to go. Next up is Malta Rising. This is a tan holographic multichrome. So this one has a little bit more of a creamy finish to it overall. It definitely applies a little more opaque than the previous ones we've checked out so far. This one is what I would consider a nude hollow. It's very linear in that holographic effect, and there's a very strong blue shimmer going on here as well. So on that first coat, you see it kind of starts off just a touch on the sheer side. They're really nice coverage overall. And on the second coat, it just really popped. So once again, this is another one that for opacity, I would suggest between 2 and 3 coats, depending on how you apply. Here on that second coat, really nice application so far. This one stays exactly where you put it, so no problems to report here. And just a really nice, almost like a taupe base going on here. Very neutral, but the holographic effect and that shimmer really takes center stage. So once again, here on the full hand shot, you are seeing a glossy top coat applied and no texture or anything to report on this one. Next is Nailfy. This is a nude Corelli with bronze shimmer and dark bronze microflakes. So overall, we've got a bit of a neutral color again. This does have a bit of a white undertone to it, but I do want to note in person, this is definitely a nude. I feel like on a lot of my swatches, whenever I do colors like this, they can come off kind of white, but I do want to emphasize that this is definitely nude in person. So here we have a very Corelli-like finish, very, very nice on application. This one has a really super smooth, buttery feel on application. For this one, once again, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats, depending on how you apply, and you'll be good to go. So those flakes in this one have a bit of a coppery type of bronze effect overall. They are of the smaller particle, so you'll get a really dense scatter across the nail, as you're seeing here on that second coat. This one also has really nice self-leveling properties as well. The bronze shimmer is pretty strong in person. I feel like it's being a little shy on the video, so just note it's definitely there in person. So on the full hand shot here, you are seeing a glossy top coat once again, and no issues to report regarding texture. And next up, we've got Pamela Marchini. This is a magnetic red with red hollow micro glitters. So in my rush to get this video out, I did not magnetize it. So what you're seeing on the video is wearing it on its own. This is gorgeous whether you wear it on its own or magnetized. I really think there's a lot of depth to this one overall. There is a touch of like a metallic feel sort of with the shimmer here, which you can see on that second coat in just a moment when we build it up. This is a very warm toned red, really strong, and for opacity, regardless of how you wear it, I'm going to suggest 2 coats on this one and you'll be just fine. It has a bit of a creamy feel on application, and as you can see here, there's that really nice magnetic kind of multichrome type of glowy effect overall. So this one has very scattered sparkles as well from those red hollow micro glitters. I had no texture with this one either. I do recommend a glossy top coat once again, which is what you're seeing on the full hand shot, and you'll have no texture or any issues with it whatsoever. And next is Patti Dominguez. This is described as a pearly blue with silver hollow micro glitters and iridescent duochrome glitters. So this is a very strong sapphire shade in my opinion. There's a lot of depth going on, quite a bit of a glowy effect as well. For this one, I'm going to suggest 2 coats for opacity. As you can see on that first coat, really nice coverage overall, and on the second coat, I felt like it was good to go. So this one has very scattered sparkles on it as well. Those flakes are of the smaller to medium variety, so they just kind of give you a little bit of extra depth overall. No problems picking them up for the brush. Per usual, my bottles get a good shake before applying, and I had no problems getting them to apply and stick to the nail. So here on that second coat, you can really see how it just pops to opacity overall. This one, I really can't see anyone needing to go to 3 coats on it. Just really easy peasy application overall. Now this one also dries down a little bit on the matte side, so once again I would recommend a glossy top coat, which is what you'll see here in just a moment on the full hand shot, and no texture or anything like that to report on. And next we have Tabata Weina. This is a scattered holographic pink with multichrome flakes. So once again, I feel like this one is very jelly-like on application and formula overall. Once again, I would say between 2 and 3 coats, depending on how long your nails are and how you're applying. I would describe this type of pink as having a bit of a mauve undertone to it. I do feel like the video is being color accurate to what I'm seeing in person. This is very scattered in the sparkle overall. It does have a bit of that really nice, just strong, but quite not there with the linear holographic effect. And the multichrome flakes are of the smaller variety. No problems picking them up in the bottle from the brush. Easy peasy laying down, no problems with them being flat on my nail bed. And as you can see here on that second coat, very nice opacity overall. So this one dries down kind of semi-glossy, so I think any top coat will be just fine with it, and you'll see lots and lots of scattered sparkles overall. And last but certainly not least is mine. This is the Polished Mage, described as a white Corelli with blue micro flakes, blue shimmer, and blue hollow glitters. So overall, when Patty asked us what we wanted for our polishes, I was specifically vague for a very good reason. I wanted to see what she would come up with, and I said one of my favorite picks for finishes is white Corellis, and I was definitely feeling blue lately. And if you guys have been following my videos so far, every time I've been swatching a blue polish, I kind of go crazy for it. So this is what she came up with for me, and I think it is a perfect representation. So overall, we've got a very stark white Corelli. This has strong blue shimmer in it, very strong blue microflakes overall, and there's a lovely, very scattered but very dense sparkle overall as well. So for this one, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats for opacity. We've got a very true Corelli-like formula overall. And on my nails, I felt like even though my free edge is pretty prominent in this one, I felt like 2 coats was just fine on it. Now this one does dry down a little bit on the matte side, so on the full hand shot here, you are seeing a glossy top coat applied and really nice, very scattered sparkle overall and no texture to report. So the Bloggers and Swatchers collection is currently available on Indie by Patty Lopes' Etsy account as well as her Brazilian site. So I will link you guys to both shops below depending on where you're at regionally. I feel like personally Etsy might be a little bit easier for those of you who are not in Brazil. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.